Hello everyone, and welcome back to our YouTube channel. Today's Tribute USA. We're so glad to have you here with us today. In this video, we're honoring the incredible legends who have recently left us. These remarkable individuals touched so many lives, and their legacies will live on forever. Before we begin, please support our channel by giving this video a thumbs up, subscribing, and turning on the notification bell so you don't miss our future tributes. Your support truly means a lot to us. Now, let's come together to celebrate and remember these unforgettable icons. Let's get started.
On the morning of July 16, 2025, the world awoke to the heartbreaking news. Connie Francis, the golden voice of the 1950s and 60s, had passed away peacefully in her Florida home at the age of 86. Surrounded by family and the soft echo of her own songs, her departure marked the end of a musical era that shaped generations. Born Concetta Rosa Maria Francanero on December 12, 1937. In Newark, New Jersey, Connie was the daughter of Italian-American parents and the child of ambition and melody. Her father believed in her voice before the world ever heard it, insisting she change her name to Connie Francis to appeal to a wider audience. It worked. After a few modest beginnings, her breakthrough came in 1958 with a song that nearly didn't happen, Who's Sorry Now? It catapulted her into global stardom. The single wasn't just a hit, it became a time capsule, forever associated with sock hops, jukeboxes, and the sweet ache of teenage love. From there, Connie's voice seemed to fill every corner of American life. Stupid Cupid, Lipstick, On Your Collar, Where the Boys Are, songs that weren't just melodies but cultural milestones. She sang in multiple languages, reaching hearts across continents. Her records sold by the millions, and by the early 1960s, she was the top-charting female vocalist in the world. But her life was never without shadow. In the early 1970s, she was the victim of a brutal assault in a motel, an incident that shattered her world and led to years of silence, depression, and legal battles. Yet, Connie was no stranger to hardship. Through pain, she emerged stronger, more determined. She advocated for victims of violent crime and became a public face for mental health awareness, speaking openly about her struggles with bipolar disorder at a time when few dared. Connie returned to the stage in the 1980s. Her voice matured but undiminished in power. Her fans, loyal through decades, greeted her not with nostalgia but with awe. They saw in her not just a pop star of the past, but a survivor. A woman who had lost nearly everything, her voice, her health, her brother, yet kept rising again. She continued to perform into her later years, always with elegance, always with sincerity. Her songs never faded. They were used in film, television, and weddings, passed from mother to daughter, like heirlooms. As the world mourns her death, it also celebrates the indelible legacy she leaves behind. A catalog of over 100 albums, timeless melodies, and a life that showed incredible resilience. Connie Francis was more than a singer. She was the soundtrack to innocence, the voice of heartbreak, and the embodiment of strength in the face of unimaginable adversity. Now, the microphone is silent, but her music plays on, forever remembered, forever beloved. On July 17, 2025, at just 38 years old, former NFL linebacker Brian Allen Brayman passed away after battling a rare and aggressive form of cancer, diagnosed earlier in February. He fought hard, enduring multiple surgeries and CAR T-cell therapy in Seattle before finally succumbing to the illness. Brayman leaves behind two young daughters, aged 11 and 8. He emerged from Spokane, Washington, where childhood instability and homelessness could have defined him. Instead, Brayman chose perseverance. After moving through Idaho, Long Beach City College, and West Texas A&M, he went undrafted in 2011 but earned a spot with the Houston Texans. What followed was 7 seasons marked not by headlines but by heart. On the field, Brayman made his mark on special teams, making fearless, game-changing plays, including a helmetless tackle in 2011 that became a defining moment for Houston fans. He was named a Pro Bowl alternate in 2012 and became a fixture on every roster, bringing relentless energy and resolve. In 2017, Brayman returned to the Philadelphia Eagles and helped propel them to the franchise's first-ever Super Bowl victory. In 52, his blocked punt in the divisional playoffs and quiet impact embodied what football is at its best: teamwork, sacrifice, and faith in the moment. But perhaps his greatest triumph came off the field. His agent, Sean Stellato, called him a Hall of Fame human being, praising Brayman's generosity, offering his bed to a friend, even during his own hardship, and describing a man whose heart was as big as his 230-pound frame. His former teammates echoed that sentiment, offering donations to his medical fund and messages of deep respect, including a $10,000 gift from J.J. Watt, who wrote, "Rest in peace, brother, gone far too soon." In his final days, surrounded by his 2 daughters, Brayman remained a symbol of resilience, not defined by his illness but by his unshakable spirit. his devotion as a father, and the underdog journey he embodied. Legacy overview. To champion, from West Texas A&M, walk-on to Super Bowl ring with the Eagles. Special teams firebrand, the helmet less hit, the blocked punt, touchdown, constant energy, community, and compassion. Loved by teammates helping raise GoFundMe support. During illness, family man, 2 daughters. Ages 11 and 8, he said his greatest achievements were fatherhood and winning a Super Bowl. Brian Brayman's life was a testament to underdog spirit, from homeless boy to NFL champion. From quiet role player to emotional leader. His journey taught us that heart matters more than stats, that strength extends beyond the physical, and that legacy is built through kindness as much as sweat. He once said his proudest moments were winning a championship and being a dad. In both respects, he lived triumphantly. Rest in peace, Brian Brayman. Your heart played every down. Your daughters carry your love, and your spirit remains a beacon for every underdog who ever dreamed big. On the night of July 16 to 17, 2025, a light went out in Polish culture. Joanna Dorota Kolachkowska passed away at just 59 years old after a courageous battle with cancer. She died peacefully, surrounded by loved ones, artists, friends and family, leaving a silence no laughter can fill. Her beloved comedy troupe wrote simply, "Our Asia." She left quietly, without pain, in the company of those she loved most. Born on June 22, 1966, in Pokowice, Joanna grew up performing folk dance and practicing skating before discovering her true stage: cabaret, theater, music, and radio. She launched her artistic path in the late 1980s and became one of the defining voices of cabaret Robbie, contributing memorable songs and sketches to Poland's most beloved satirical troupe. Joanna was not only a gifted actress, she was a lyricist and songwriter of rare empathy. She co-wrote classic pieces like Song Porzukonj, also known as the Piosenka o Andrzeju, a piece that blended melancholy and humor with uncanny precision. She also explored genres ranging from gospel choir to metal collaborations. Singing with freedom born of joy rather than technique, her voice resonated beyond the cabaret stage. She appeared in films such as Robin Hood, The Fourth Arrow, 1997, and Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde by Aoi, 1999, and even provided Polish dubbing for Donna Noble and Doctor Who in 2023, bridging generational audiences and genres. In April 2025, her battle with cancer compelled her to step away from performing. The troupe announced her illness publicly, sharing that she had withdrawn from the tour Potmo Piosenki to focus entirely on treatment. They raised funds through benefit concerts featuring fellow artists including Hanna Klasiska-Arter, Andras Szymon, Majewski, and many more, turning the stage meant for joy into a lifeline of support. Though fans and friends hoped for a miracle, none came. Joanna's lasting impact lies in how she bridged laughter with heartache, absurdity with tenderness. She had a wit that could turn a phrase sharp enough to slice through cynicism, and a gentle warmth that reminded audiences that satire at its best heals rather than wounds. Her artistry wasn't just entertainment, it was empathy in motion. Loss is felt deeply across Polish culture, from artists like Artur Andros, Krzysztof Skiba, Szymon Majewski, to countless fans. The outpouring has been immediate. "The world is sadder without you," wrote many. They described her talent as phenomenal, her presence as a gift, and her absence as an irreparable void. Her funeral is scheduled for July 28, 2025. Beginning with a memorial mass at 11 a.m. at the Church of St. Charles Borromeo on Poskowska Street in Warsaw, followed by a secular ceremony at noon in the Polskie Wojsko Hall. She will be laid to rest at the military cemetery on Pawłowskie. Final farewell for a woman who lived to make people feel alive. Joanna Kolachkowska's stage was many things: cabaret, theater, song, laughter, confession, but above all, it was a space where truth fell gently. She sang, she joked, she wrote, and in doing so, helped us feel. Joanna leaves behind the troupe that was her creative family, a catalog of songs and sketches threaded through Polish satire, and countless memories etched into theater seats, radios, screens, and hearts. Rest in peace, Joanna Dorota Kolachkowska. Your song is left behind, but your presence will never fade. On the evening of July 15, 2025, Judy Liu, the distinguished English actress and beloved mother of Kate Beckinsale, quietly passed away at the age of 78 after a prolonged battle with cancer. Kate shared that her mother died in her arms, following immeasurable suffering, leaving behind a world dimmer without her radiant presence. Born Judith Margaret Lou on March 6, 1947, in Urmston, Lancashire, she was known for her thoughtful intelligence and striking screen presence. A graduate of the University of Birmingham in English and drama, she first found acclaim with early-stage work, including the original British production of Hair, before transitioning to television. Judy's career spanned 5 decades. She appeared in beloved British dramas such as Casualty, The Chief, Inspector Morse, and even made a memorable cameo in Monty Python's The Meaning of Life. Her final screen role was in the 2024 thriller series, Fool Me Once, a fitting coda to a lifelong dedication to her craft. Her personal life was woven with love and loss. She married actor Richard Beckinsale in 1977, giving birth to their daughter Kate, who would become a film star. After Richard's sudden death just 2 years later, Judy raised Kate with grace and resilience. She later married director Roy Battersby in 1997, nurturing a blended family until his own passing in January 2024. In her daughter's public tribute, Kate described Judy as the compass of my life, the love of my life, my dearest friend. She praised her mother's vast heart, bravery, forgiveness, and unwavering belief in goodness, even as she endured immense suffering. Kate's grief was raw and personal. She apologized for sharing the news publicly, explaining she felt paralyzed by loss and unable to notify loved ones in private. Judy Lou was not just an actor, she was a beacon. She brought dignity to every role, whether as a thoughtful guest in a hospital drama or a presence in ensemble comedy. Her intelligence and natural warmth anchored scenes and showed that strength could be gentle and impact. Phil Tass. Tributes poured in. Co-stars and admirers remembered her as deeply kind, professionally grounded, and inherently graceful. Many noted that Judy's faith in people and hope for the future was matched only by her eloquence in everyday life. Legacy snapshot, theme, reflection, artistic integrity across Casualty, The Chief, Fool Me Once. She brought authenticity and subtle power to every role. Family and resilience. Widow of Richard Beckinsale and wife of Roy Battersby, Judy navigated personal loss with courage and deep love for her daughter. Personal warmth, described by Kate as brave, forgiving, and generous, a small woman with a monumental heart. Judy Lou brought the quiet power of compassion and craft. She spoke softly on screen, but her legacy echoes loudly through both art and family. She is survived by her daughter Kate Beckinsale, stepdaughter Samantha Beckinsale, and granddaughter Lily Mosheen, along with a legacy of roles that resonate in British screen history. Rest in peace, Judy Lou. Your light may have dimmed, but your presence remains a guiding star for those you loved and those who watched. On July 17, 2025, the corridors of power across Hollywood fell quietly still. Harry Skip Montague Brittenham, II, the forthright attorney and trusted counselor to A-list stars, passed away at 83 years old. Best known as Skip Brittenham, he died in Los Angeles after a brief, undisclosed illness. His departure marks the end of an era, passing of a rare breed of legal sage who combined fierce advocacy with unwavering integrity. Born September 6, 1941, in Port Huron, Michigan, Skip showed early promise. He excelled at UCLA School of Law, graduating and co-founding the powerhouse firm Zifrin Brittenham, LLP, alongside Ken Zifrin. What began as a two-man operation grew into Hollywood legend boutique firm representing top-tier talent and navigating the complex legal pathways of film, television, and digital media. Skip's client list read like a who's who of entertainment royalty: Harrison Ford, Tom Hanks, Eddie Murphy, Kevin Feige, Toby Emmerich, even Harvey Weinstein. Before his downfall, he advised on groundbreaking deals: Marvel's Ascent, blockbuster film slates, TV franchises, consistently delivering legal clarity and strategic insight in an industry driven by shifting power and big numbers. But Skip's reputation was built on more than marquee names. He was a mentor to countless attorneys, crafting a culture at Zifrin Brittenham defined by professional rigor, ethical clarity, and client loyalty. He believed a lawyer's true strength was not in courtroom combatives, but in calm counsel and measured strategy, an approach that earned him trust among colleagues and clients alike. Throughout his career, Skip guided his clients through Hollywood's golden transitions, from studio dominance to streaming disruption, from analog contracts to digital rights. He helped reshape entertainment law to cover global licensing, intellectual property, SAG-AFTRA terms, and multi-channel brand alignment. His foresight made him invaluable, pushing the industry toward modern frameworks long before trends became mainstream. Colleagues remember Skip's warm laugh, his wry sense of humor, and his ability to diffuse any crisis with steady wisdom. Clients described him as the rare outsider inside the industry, a lawyer who understood storytelling, tension, and character just as keenly as he understood legal clauses. That understanding turned negotiations into art, and disputes into diplomacy. His leadership extended beyond firm walls. He was a regular presence in Hollywood charity events, legal education seminars, and industry think tanks, lending both his gravitas and charm to causes ranging from arts, advocacy, to mental health initiatives for entertainment professionals. Skip Brittenham leaves behind a legacy that isn't measured in lawsuits won, but in careers safeguarded. He represented actors, producers, studios, showrunners, and creative visionaries, enabling them to focus on story while he protected their rights. He bridged art and business, giving creative freedom a firm foundation. He is survived by his wife, Heather, their children, and a community that saw him as a trusted advisor, a respected tactician, and a friend with a moral compass unwavering under pressure. Skip Brittenham didn't just negotiate contracts, he negotiated culture. He served Hollywood not only with skill, but with a rare kindness that reminded clients they were valued as people, not just talent. Rest in peace. Skip Brittenham. In an industry defined by spotlight and shadow, you are a constant. Your work lives on every film financed, every deal struck, and every artist empowered to follow their dreams, secure in your unwavering support. On July 14, 2025, the poetic world grew quieter. Andrea Gibson, poet, performance artist, Colorado's poet laureate, died at 49 at their home in Boulder, Colorado, after a 4-year battle with terminal ovarian cancer. Their death, announced by their wife, Megan Falley, came surrounded by love. Meg, by their side, their parents, former partners, dozens of friends, and their 3 beloved dogs, a circle of presence in a moment of departure. Andrea's voice was as unfiltered as it was urgent. Born in Calais, Maine, on August 13, 1975, they moved to Colorado in the late 90s, shedding the silence of stage fright to become one of America's most electrifying spoken-word poets. They published 7 collections, pole dancing to gospel hymns, through You Better Be. Lightning Ann released 7 albums of live poetry, like Yellowbird and Truce, that blended social justice, queer identity, mental health, and mortality into visceral artistry. In 2023, the governor appointed Andrea Poet Laureate of Colorado, a recognition that affirmed their ability to bridge intimate reflection and public conscience. Audiences across small towns and LGBTQ gatherings found in Andrea a mirror for their own lives, especially those grappling with identity or illness. Their final years unfolded with unflinching honesty. In poems like How the Worst Day of My Life Became My Best and Love Letter from the Afterlife, Andrea turned cancer into contemplation and pain into poetry. One of their last lines proclaimed, "Dying is the opposite of leaving. I am more here than I ever was before." Their cancer journey and their marriage to Meg became the heart of the Sundance-winning documentary, Come See Me in the Good Light, directed by Ryan White, featuring an original song co-written by Andrea with Sarah Bareilles and Brandi Carlile. The film premiered earlier this year to tear-filled audiences, but Andrea's legacy was greater than tragedy. It was a map of survival. LGBTQ+ youth shared how their poetry helped them learn to love themselves. Cancer survivors and people across the world credited Andrea with easing their fear of death, reminding them that love and presence persist beyond the body. Friends and fellow artists poured tribute online. Comedian Tig Notaro, 25-year friend, described their final days as painful yet profoundly beautiful, framed by connection unfolding even in loss. Others shared that Andrea's words had literally saved their lives. Colorado Governor Jared Polis called them truly one of a kind, praising their capacity to unify and uplift diverse poetry lovers. Andrea Gibson remains survived by their wife, Megan Falley, and by parents, friends, and a movement of poets forever changed by their presence. Their art lives on through spoken word, books, and performance, echoing in hearts, classrooms, and protests. Their poem Love Letter from the Afterlife continues to offer comfort, bridging grief with hope. Legacy, snapshot, quality, reflection, raw authenticity, poems about identity, mental health, love, mortality, spoken, live with palpable sincerity, representation, and advocacy, genderqueer, LGBTQ+ icon, performed at rallies, worked with activist groups including Vox, Feminista, Artistic Range, 7 spoken word albums, 7 books, world tours, Colorado laureate. Transformative final works, cancer-era poems, offering solace and beauty, deeply resonant across communities. Andrea Gibson taught us to live in full presence, to cherish storms, to dance with them, to make medicine from inevitable pain. Rest peacefully, Andrea Gibson. Your voice remains steadier than ever, within us, within the verses you gifted, and within the lives you lifted. On July 17, 2025, in Los Angeles, songs lost their most tender poet. Alan Bergman, the Oscar-winning lyricist behind classics such as The Way We Were and The Windmills of Your Mind, passed away at the age of 99. He had endured respiratory illness in recent months, Yet he continued writing lyrics until the very end, a testament to a life lived in service of melody and meaning. With him went, not just a lyricist, but a voice that shaped American songwriting across generations. Born in Brooklyn on September 11, 1925, Alan Bergman grew up in a Jewish family, alongside a future collaborator not yet married, but sharing the same hospital, neighborhood, and early musical experiences as Marilyn. That childhood harmony blossomed into a lifelong partnership. He studied music and theater at UNC Chapel Hill, followed by graduate studies at UCLA, where he connected with songwriting great Johnny Mercer, who encouraged him to write lyrics. Alan and Marilyn met in Los Angeles in the mid-1950s. While working separately for composer Lou Spence, they married in 1958 and over 6 decades became one of the most celebrated songwriting duos in entertainment history. Their synergy was remarkable, often arriving at the same phrase at the same moment, leading Alan to liken their collaboration to household teamwork. One washes, one dries. Their breakthrough came with Yellowbird, but worldwide acclaim followed their legendary works. The Windmills of Your Mind from the Thomas Crown Affair, Oscar winner, The Way We Were, Oscar winner and top-selling song of 1974, and the songs from Barbra Streisand's Yet, Can You Hear Me? And The Way He Makes Me Feel, another Oscar winner. Collectively, Alan earned 3 Academy Awards, 2 Grammys, 4 Emmys, and 16 Best Song nominations, more than any other songwriting duo. Their songs were vividly emotional and deeply memorable, carried by voices like Streisand, Sinatra, Ray Charles, Tony Bennett, and Michael Jackson. Through Good Times, Maude, and Alice, they delivered TV themes that became part of cultural DNA. Through film scores and Broadway musicals like Ballroom, they balanced intimacy with grandeur. Alan's life after Marilyn's death in 2022 was a solo stanza in their shared song. Though grief-stricken, he wrote on, crafting new lyrics and mentoring young talent. He was preparing a centennial tribute at Santa Monica's Broad Stage, featuring musical luminaries such as Michael Feinstein and Jackson Browne. Proof that even at 99, he remained creative, curious, and beloved. His friend and collaborator Barbra Streisand described him as family to me, a father figure. She recalled their final conversation about a song he was composing even in his final days. She imagined him reunited in song with Marilyn, continuing their creative partnership in eternity. Legacy highlights: lifetime collaboration, 6 decades, writing beside Marilyn, married in 1958 until her passing in 2022. Artistic impact: 3 Oscar-winning songs. Lyrics interpreted by kings of music, Streisand, Sinatra, Charles. Award recognition: 3 Oscars, 2 Grammys, 4 Emmys. Inducted into Songwriters Hall of Fame in 1980. Continuing creativity, wrote until the end. Headed centennial tribute, remained artistically engaged. Alan Bergman sang through words, made music breathe in lyric. He was not just a writer, but an architect of emotion, memory, and love. Alan is survived by his daughter Julie Bergman and granddaughter Emily. He leaves a legacy not measured in applause, but in the tears, memories, and melodies he helped bring into the world. His lyrics live on in hearts, through voice, screen, and song. Rest in peace, Alan Bergman. The music might pause, but the words forever echo. On July 14, 2025, in Paris, France, and on Bastille Day of all days, the media world lost one of its most provocative voices. Thierry Ardisson, aged 76, passed away from liver cancer. His family revealed, a man who wore black until the end, and lived as he died, courageous, unapologetic, and endlessly curious. Born January 6, 1949, in Bourganeuf, Ardisson began life in the shadows, only to emerge as the unforgettable L'Homme in Noir. He cut his teeth in advertising during the 1970s, for inventing the 8-second ad and crafting provocative slogans, but it was television where he would reshape the landscape. In the 1980s, he launched audacious programs like Le Noir's Pour Nuits Blanches, Paris Dernier, and Rive Droit, Rive Gauche, shows that blurred genres, elevated nightlife, and shattered broadcast decorum. His signature wardrobe, always black, matched his dark, elegant satire, but it was to Le Monde and Parle, launched in 1998 on France 2, that vaulted him into cultural legend. For 8 seasons, Ardisson turned celebrity interviews into politics, art, and surprise questions, so sharp they made headlines. He once asked former Prime Minister Michel Rocard if sucking was cheating, an outrageous moment that became part of his legacy. In 2006, he moved to Salut les Terriens on Canal Plus, and later C8, a nightly commentary palace filled with wit, satire, and strong voices like Laurent Baffy, Stéphane Guillon, and Alex Vizorek, cementing his status as a consistent shapeshifter in French TV. Ardisson's final project, Hotel du Temps, was as bold as it was controversial. AI-generated interviews with deceased celebrities including Daliada Kaluki and Jean Gabin. The show polarized audiences, praised for innovation, criticized for ethical boundaries before its cancellation in 2023. Recognized in 2024 with the Legion d'Honneur, Artisan was lauded by President Macron as someone who helped write the history of French television. Celebrated as well by stars, presidents, and critics alike, he remained untamed, eternally himself. His funeral at Église Saint-Roch in Paris on July 17 was a spectacle and solemnity. Guests dressed in black per his own code, over 500 mourners, from artistic elites to television personalities, shared grief and admiration. The ceremony was private, the burial in Memoriam intimate, as he himself once envisioned it. Legacy highlights a provocateur of conversations, turned interviews into dramatic theater, challenging guests to drop facades, a career built on reinvention. From advertising to talk shows to AI fiction interviews, always ahead of the curve. A singular style, monochrome wardrobe, razor-sharp humor, unapologetic stand, a reputation both revered and reviled. Cultural touchstone, his shows launched careers, launched scandals, and launched ideas, leaving a mark on generations of French viewers. Thierry Artisan didn't just host shows, he rewrote the playbook. In every lamplit studio, in every piercing question, he carved space for truth, for provocation, and for freedom. He is survived by 3 children, his wife, Audrey Crespo, Mara, and countless colleagues and viewers who were shocked or inspired by his intellect, irreverence, and vision. Rest in power. Thierry Artisan, the man in black, the man who asked the hard questions, the man who changed the conversation. Your show may have ended, but your echoes still reverberate across screens and minds.